and the start. Now I want you to look at this. There are 7 cards here. 7. 5 of them are major arcana. This is big. This is big. Now, that's not to frighten you guys. As soon as you say something's big or intense, or I don't know why people always get not their back up, but kind of braced for impact. It's a turn in the road, right? How often do we want change? And it is a time of change for you. I don't see it as a difficult change at all, but that obviously depends on the person. I've been thinking about this, that the readers are always the filters for the messages, right? So the ones that don't see difficulties and bad things as a bad thing, we're going to be quite positive and stuff. And the ones that don't think anything out of the ordinary is bad, then everything's going to be bad, right? So it is a lot about the filters that we are. But I would encourage you to be very optimistic around this. Very optimistic. Why? Because we have the Fool. I think the Fool is very optimistic. I see the Fool as very similar to the Knight of Wands, the curious optimist, right? What I mean by that, it means this is that in-between stage. We're in between the ending of one phase and we're about ready to jump into something new. But what are you jumping into that's new? What are you jumping into that's new? And the story that I like to tell around this card from the Mermaid Tarot is, look at her. She's been a mermaid her whole life. She's been in the sea her whole life. And it really embodies the change that's coming in because she's not in the sea anymore. Now she's stepping out onto land for the first time. Now, what kind of ideas and emotions come up around that? Big emotions and ideas. Because first of all, she doesn't know what's on land. It's an alien concept to her. It's totally different from where she's been. So when people come forward, and especially when I get clients, and I don't know why they do that. People that have watched me for a while won't do this. But sometimes you get people and they will say, what's going to happen? Will this happen? Will that happen? She doesn't know. Imagine you asked her. You said, what's going to happen? What's going to happen on land? What are you going to meet? She doesn't know. It's completely foreign to her. But it's the aspect of this that is because it's different. I kind of feel like the change is the point here. The change is the point. The curious optimist, right? Let's go explore what's coming in. Let's go explore the options. We have no bloody idea what it is, but that is part of it. And I'm saying that not just because of this, but because of the other cards that come up too. So with the Fool coming up, it's a leap of faith completely. All you know is where you've been, but that's not where you're going. So there are no maps. There's nothing that you take with you except the knowledge of the previous cycle that you've been through. And a lot of times the Fool is likened to the rebirth of the soul, if you guys believe in that thing. But even as a concept, we can explore it whether you believe it or not. And if you think about it in terms of karma and souls and lives that people believe, in that philosophy or that way of thinking, when we die, then we go for a period of this, right? Getting ready to go again. And when we're reborn, we don't remember anything, except we do. That's why people talk about karma. We do take something with us, but it's not logical. We don't actually know what it is that we're taking with us. And the world echoes some of that as well. So I really feel like the point of July for you guys, it is the change. It is what you're going towards. It is to what you're leaving behind to have this new beginning. This can be no man's land. We don't really know what's coming up ahead. All we know is that we're ready for that change. We're ready to go again. And we don't need to have faith in the path. We don't need to have faith in what we'll encounter. How can you? You have no idea of what you'll encounter. So she has faith in herself. She has faith that she can handle whatever comes up, that it will enrich her experience. She's going on this journey for the experience now. I want you to think about this. The 5 of Cups is coming up here. And you'll see these 2 cups sat here, echoed over here. And the 5 of Cups, it's regret, it's loss, it's missed opportunities. But I want you to think about this. No matter what she did in the sea when she was a mermaid, her life as a mermaid, no matter what, maybe she was the worst mermaid ever, maybe she wasn't a great swimmer, whatever it was, whatever she missed out on, whatever she regrets having happened to her, that's not really a part of her narrative now, because that was her life as a mermaid. Now she's going to be a land dweller, right? Same with you guys. But it's normal, it's natural, no matter how massive a change coming in. And sometimes that change is welcome, and sometimes it isn't. Our human selves, sometimes we become creatures of habit. Better the devil you know, right? better the known aspects, even if they're difficult, at least we know the known quantities of where we are. But with this one, it kind of feels like a last look back. There may be regret. Why did it have to go this way? Or, you know, whatever it is. But, or you might be looking back at previous losses that you've had. That the last time you tried to try something new. But it kind of almost feels like, I mean, I know it's a daytime image, but we have a lighthouse here. What is that showing us? What is that? You know, lighthouse lets the boats come in to safety. And it kind of feels like that's what's happening with you. But there's one last look back, the Three of Cups. Now, this might be around support. I will say that. This doesn't, just because there's the Two of Cups here, I know everyone immediately jumps to, oh my God, it's a romantic reading. Or a love life reading, as people like to say. I think every reading's a love life reading because we are love and we go for what we love. Love is not romance. So there could be question marks around support. Maybe you've lost support in the past. Friends or, you know, people that you thought would be there for you and they weren't. They weren't. And so with the Three Cups here, they've fallen. That is what has been missed. That is the regret, lost. Now, those emotions must always be honored. Some of you might be coming out of a time of grieving, whether it was grieving the loss of, you know, someone that passed over. And it's happened. It's not prediction. This talks about coming out of a time of grieving with the Fool coming up. The loss of a job, the loss of a relationship, whatever it was. But that's done. One last look back as you step into July. That's what this feels like. Now, as much as those Three Cups have fallen over, I get with a lot of you, you've gone through a time of where everything felt like it was lost. You know, everything was lost. But it wasn't. We had those Two Cups there. And that, yes, it can indicate the Two of Cups. But it's also that there is love and support for us. We may not see it because where we want it from, it's gone. But it is there. And it kind of feels like now you're ready to turn around and pick up those Two Cups and go forward. And go forward. Now, I want you to see at the heart of your reading, you have the Two of Cups. And I love this. I love this because if you have a look at the Fool, it's almost, if you have a look, it's her, right? So has she gone to go and find the matching cup for hers? That she thought she found someone who matched her cup there. But she was a mermaid then and he was a land dweller. So is that what has caused her to go and have this change? I mean, if we were going to read this in the mundane, if this was a personal reading where we connect it to specific situations, a general reading is a totally different beast from a personal reading. Could it be that this is for some of you that, you know, you are actually moving countries, you're actually going somewhere else to go find love, or for a business partnership or for a friendship, you're going to go start this new life based on this connection. Two of Cups, it is a connection. That's what it talks about. And a lot of people get their knickers in a twist when I say this, but it isn't just romantic. It can be romantic, but it can be a friend. The most profound Two of Cups relationship I ever had was a friend, platonic friendship that never turned into anything more, but was exactly what I needed at that time. Was exactly like, you know, my partner in crime that I needed going through a very difficult time in my life. So please don't limit yourself, because all the Two of Cups shows is the connection. Now, where it goes from there, it's the free will of both people that determines that. So with this card at the heart of the reading, which is why I'm taking a moment to really explain it, the heart of the reading is what we're focused on, what we're dealing with, or what we're doing. You know, that's what everything revolves around this, the heart of the reading. The underlying is the undercurrent. It's kind of like, it's the synopsis, I would say, of, you know, what's going on, the fuel in our engine as we go into this month. And at a very mundane level, if you think about it, the Two Cups left there, now you're picking them up and making something of it. Whatever was left after that loss, now you're picking up the pieces and going with it. So there's that interpretation. But the Two of Cups, it might be for some of you that now you're ready, because maybe you were going through whatever you were. Now you're ready to explore a connection. An existing one. Maybe you've known this person for a while, right? You connected for a while, but it's two people on the same page. Could be a partnership, could be a colleague at work, you know, but it's intense. It's not just any run-of-the-mill connection. It's almost like you finish each other's sentences. You get each other. You feel like you've known each other before. It's that kind of sense. You have the same vision, the same emotions. And that's why I always go on about the Ace of Cups. Whatever was in your cup, however you've learned to love yourself, that emotional potential that you have, the emotional growth, it is now matched in the Two of Cups. This is where we take our cup out into the world to have it connect with others. And so even if there's nothing around you, if you've got no connections, no one, you've kind of been dealing with a loss, maybe you've moved somewhere new, you're going somewhere new, this shows there will be support for you. And that's your focus right now. Maybe is to connect with someone. I do see it very much as love and support, especially with the Three of Cups there, the overall general energy of this. You get to decide the flavor of that. Some of you want that as a friend. Some of you want that as a lover. Now, the reason I feel that is because you've been doing this. The Emperor, bless you guys. The Emperor is the person in charge. And you know that whole thing of it's lonely at the top. No one knows that better than the Emperor. He doesn't have the luxury of doing things by committee. It all falls on his shoulders, and he can be criticized for it. Think about it, right? We criticize the Emperor. He's seen as a selfish dictator sometimes, you know, who decides, well, I want this and I'm going to have it this way. Because at the end of the day, it all falls on him. He's responsible for the empire. It's his empire. He's the man in charge. And in the tarot, his energy is that of the father, the authority figure, the boss. It's all been on him. And the reason I'm kind of taking it more that way is because of this kind of energy of support. And maybe doing something, there's a level of innocence here, which the Emperor does not have. He does not have that level of innocence. With him, it's always that sense of look at him, with that full beard, and, you know, he sits there. He has seen it and he's done it all. He's defended his empire. He's seen it through good times and bad times. And that's been you, but it's been all on your shoulders. And I kind of feel like this is where it's moving, where it's not all on your shoulders now. There's a balance of power coming in, because it feels like there was an imbalance of power. Now that, yes, of course, when there's an imbalance of power, somebody else can have the power, right? But I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing it more. That could be for some people, but the main energy coming through here is one of, you were in charge of everything. You've had to carry a big burden. You've had to be the authority figure. And as much as, you know, we have control when that happens, we can get stuck doing things a certain way. We can get stuck doing things a certain way. And that's why the Emperor, you know, he has that thing of my way or the highway. But he's not just a dictator. He can be a benevolent ruler, you know, who does what's best for everyone. Maybe you've had to do that. But that time of being in charge, and I don't mean it in a bad way, trust me, it feels very good. This could be if you've been the boss of your own business, but it's all been on you. Now there's support here. Even if it's just emotional, even if it's just someone that has your back and says, yes, you got this, you can do this. Or whether, you know, it's been at work or in a relationship, for whatever reason, maybe your partner has been dealing with other stuff. They've had work stuff going on, family stuff going on. So you've had to be either the main breadwinner, or you've had to make the decision. Somebody has. I see an imbalance of power coming in. You'll see why that is when we get to Temperance. So that's in the past, though. That's the foundation. I'm going to say this as well. Whether you identify as masculine, feminine, whatever gender, non-gender, no genders, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But when we look at the Emperor, it's yang energy. And so it's all that energy that we attribute to being, to the masculine, to the divine masculine energy, not as a gender, but as an energy. And that's, you know, forceful, in charge, aggressive, you know, all of those things that we need. We all need that to achieve anything in life. We all have to tap into that side of ourselves. For some of you, that's been an overdrive. It's been an overdrive. And maybe you focusing on keeping control, making decisions, whatever, is what led to you missing out on something. And that's why now you're like, I'm not going to miss out on this opportunity again. It's my needs. I can't keep taking care of the whole empire, which is everyone in your life, maybe. I need to do something for myself. I need to go on this brand new journey for myself. Now, one thing, your time as Emperor, whether that was as a boss, whatever, father, authority figure, mother even, you know, as that person who had control. This can be control issues, I will say that. Take it from me. I have a Virgo moon, so I'm not judging you. And I have control issues. I used to. I'm a reformed control freak now, but it still rears its ugly head sometimes. You know, whenever I start freaking out about something, then it's like, ooh, what can I control? What can I clean? What can I organize? You know, that kind of energy. That comes from fear. Because we feel like we don't have control in a situation. But the Fool doesn't need control in the situation. The Fool just throws herself in because it's about the experience. She wants to pull out moves that she never knew that she had. She wants to meet different people. It's that all that she has, right? So whatever this time was for you, last week, last month, last year, it doesn't matter, 10 years ago, that's come to an end now. We have the world coming in. And it's almost, I kind of feel like for some of you, if this is a work reading or business, you have a skill set from this. One thing that I've noticed, and I do general readings for my clients sometimes when they ask for them, This can throw in different aspects when you do a general, because it might not pick from just one area of your life. We're not focused on just one area. This might be how you've been at work, but now you're putting more attention towards your relationships, right? Now, with the world coming up here, it says whatever this was, that time has ended. That cycle has closed. This can come up and we don't even feel like anything's changed. It's like, you sure, Jay, that situation is still going on? Well, the world is the card for Saturn. So what it's actually saying to you is you have learned everything that you need to learn from that cycle. You have taken everything that you could take from it. Are you ready to move on? Are you ready to go begin a new journey? This is a victory card. So it's a successful completion, but it doesn't always feel like it. It's those Saturnian lessons, right? And it's something that I talked about. I did an Instagram live a few days ago. That's one of the things that came up where, you know, a lot of people stay in the shadows. They've set up camp there. And at first it was great trying to gain control, look at what your issues were, look at all of the triggers, like that kind of stuff. But do we stay there too long? Because at some point we need to put it down, and then it will require some kind of courage from us or faith to go throw ourselves into something new. But it's something that we do. It's not something that happens to us, right? So this is about knowing I'm done with that. I'm not going to get my attention anymore. One final look back. Farewell to that. I'm ready for, you know, this new thing that I'm leaping into. And that's what July feels like for you. So that ends there. And it's, I would say this is about closing down stuff. Maybe it doesn't require your attention anymore. Maybe it's celebrating certain aspects. Well, even if it didn't end the way you wanted it to with that. You survived it. You made it through. You're ready for something new. But what is this new thing that you're ready for? Now you have Temperance coming up. And I really feel like the knowledge here, this is usually taking stock of where we are. And yet with the world before it, it kind of changes the energy of that. Because if it was that way around, I'll just explain it to you. So if we had the world coming up in the future, it is a closing. It will close, you know, we're reaching the end of the cycle. But first we're asked to take stock of where are we working too hard? Where are we, you know, playing too much? You know, is there balance here? Are we giving equal attention to everything in our life? Are we exploring our emotions as well as our thoughts, our passions, our inspiration? You know, are we giving equal attention to everything? Or are we laser focused on one area? But it didn't come up that way. It's almost like whatever it is that shuts down, that you stop giving energy to, thoughts on, emotions, 5 of Cups. That's when you get to take stock of your life, when that happens. First, the change. So if some of you feel, and I get it, you don't even know where you're headed. I'll be honest with you. You don't even know. You know you want out. You know you want change. You know you want something new. And trust me, you are primed and ready. This is where, if you believe in the universe and source and spirit, the energies are conspiring to aid you in what you are about to do. But that's just the point. You know what you don't want. You kind of have ideas of support, and, you know, some of you have support structures in place. Some of you are looking for that support structure. But you're asked with Temperance coming up in the future that, you know, all right, let's take stock of this because we're about to make the impossible possible. This looks like divine timing. So when it comes up, I always say people think divine timing is time out on the naughty step. You're not getting that right now. Let's wait until, well, this could be something that you've worked very hard for, that you've taken all the steps that you need to. And now it's divine timing. Now it's starting to come in. That's more Wheel of Fortune, not going to lie to you. But it is that kind of pause and taking stock. Now, if those of you that have been going through this imbalance of power, this is a balance coming in now. It's not all on your shoulders. You get to explore different areas. And think about it at a very mundane level. It's now in a relationship. You don't have to just keep focusing on doing all the work in that relationship. Somebody else can. If at work, you know, you were stuck doing one project, now you get to explore other things. That's what Temperance is. It's that moderation, balance, peace, harmony. But you do that with what you have. Now, interesting to me that the 2 of Cups is above this, because in most decks, the Temperance person is holding 2 cups. I feel this is a reconnection. I feel this is balance coming in again. I'm going to keep saying it, I'm sorry, but there's an imbalance of power. It keeps coming through like that. If you think, why do readers keep repeating shit? Because it keeps coming up. So there is that. Now, with the advice card, you got the Star. And that's your purpose here, my lovely people. That is your point. All you need to figure out right now is what gives you hope. What gives you hope? Let's look at that. Let's look at, because that's how healing happens, especially with this. I know there's been a loss, But I've talked about this a lot recently. It's not so much. These are not the times to sit back and I'm not saying meditation or shadow work is bad. I think we're still doing it. But I think it's more of an active process now. I think the final bits of that healing, especially if your spiritual house is in good order, it's now taking the steps. We learn what we need to. We go through what we need to as we walk towards it. But what are you walking towards? Well, what brings you hope? The implication of the star is that there's been a tower moment where everything's collapsed. But in the falling of that tower, that's when we get to see the night sky. Now, there are so many stars in the night sky. Which one is yours? Which one is yours, Virgo? Which star is yours? Only you get to decide that. And the whole point of the star, like that's how when people set themselves intentions or goals, like I want that relationship, I want that job, I want that money, I want whatever. They think they see the star and they see it. They see whatever that star is. So that might be the money that you want, the relationship that you want, whatever. And because they think, oh my God, that, it's too far away, I'm never going to get it. But that's not the point. When we decide what we want, the point then becomes of the steps that we take to get there. That now becomes the guidance system. She can follow that star and go along on her path. And that's why the star is so important. It's our destiny. It's when we step into our destiny, but we establish what it is that we're going for. So some of you, if you've got a question of, I don't know what my path is, or I don't know where I'm going, or what my purpose is, what brings you hope? Because if it brings you hope, that's your next step, one step in that direction. But yeah, I get it. You're in a place where nothing is really clear and that can throw you.